Welcome to this evening's presentation. My name is Ray St. Clair. I'm your host for this evening. I've been in this business now for a very short time and I absolutely love it. And I'm delighted to be your host on this evening's call and bring you a brand new presentation for this evening that we've developed. And we will be doing recordings of this and we will make copies of this presentation available for you if you ask in the Facebook group. Okay, so how we're going to do this is we're going to do a short introduction, and after the short introduction to crowdfunding, we're going to do a 50-50 platform overview so that those of you who are new to the 50-50 platform can understand how it works. And then we're going to do some Q&A and some testimonials at the end. Shouldn't last more than about 30-35 minutes. We like to keep it fairly short and sweet. So what is crowdfunding? Well, crowdfunding is a system of raising money for projects or causes from a large number of people, typically via the internet. That comes from dictionary.com. Obviously, you can go and look that up. So basically, raising money through the internet, through a large crowd of people, is crowdfunding. And it's very, very common on the internet today. So why has crowdfunding become so common? Well, the biggest factor is the banks. They're the problem. They're failing dramatically. We all remember the days of Northern Rock when they collapsed and the HBOS incident, and they're no longer lending. And to be fair, nobody trusts them anymore. So the human race found a better way to raise funds for projects and charities and for personal things. So we found a solution, and that solution is crowdfunding. So who's crowdfunding? Who's doing this? Well, some companies that you may have heard of are already big players in the world of crowdfunding. And these companies are handing millions and millions of dollars in donations across their platforms. Companies like Kickstarter and Indiegogo and Etsy and Just Giving. We've all heard of Just Giving. They're a crowdfunding platform. Seedrs and GoFundMe. These companies are not only facilitating the transfer of billions of dollars, but also they're making a small profit on the back of this. So it's a much better way of raising funds that you might need for a project or to help somebody or a charity. And these guys are the big players in that industry. Is it big? Well, according to Wikipedia, over $34 billion has been donated in this industry in the last 3 years alone. And this industry is still growing extremely fast. The money on the pallets you see there, that's just $1 billion. So imagine that amount of money times 34. That's the amount of money that's transferred across crowdfunding platforms in the last 3 years. That's a staggering amount of money, an absolutely staggering amount of money. How fast is this industry growing? Well, according to industry experts, it's one of the fastest growing industries in the world. And it's growing at 136% a year. That information comes from Crowdfunder Insider. Think about that. How many businesses do you know? How many industries do you know that are growing at such an exponential rate? I don't know of any that are growing as fast as this. So who else is crowdfunding? Well, here's a screenshot from PayPal, the world's largest payment provider. They're now allowing people to use PayPal as a platform to raise funds for any purpose. As you can see there, it says from non-profit fundraising, school payment solutions, personal fundraising, political campaign fundraising. So they understand that people don't want to raise funds through banks anymore. So they too have now joined those big crowdfunding companies and allowing people to use their platform to do crowdfunding, whether that be for personal or other things. They're happy for it to happen. What about social media? Well, all the social media platforms are opening up their platforms too to allow their users to donate money for charitable and product-based fundraising. Okay, Facebook. I said the other night, I was speaking to a friend of mine in America who I used to know, and he used to work for Facebook. And he told me that in order for Facebook to change their whole platform globally to facilitate this, you've got to start on $100 million of investment. Now, for Facebook, that's not a huge amount of money, but they don't spend money lightly because they're in business to make profit. So they're spending a lot of money to facilitate this because they know that it adds value to their platform, it engages users, and it gives people a reason to use Facebook if they're allowed to do fundraising through that platform in a crowdfunding sense. But do Facebook allow you to do personal fundraising? Well, yes. In Facebook, you can add a button to your Facebook page, which will allow anyone in the world to donate to you for any reason whatsoever. And here's a screenshot from my Facebook 50/50 page. And you can see there it says shop with you or make a donation. So I can change my page button to say to people, make a donation to me. Okay. So Facebook is already a crowdfunding platform that we can use today. Can anyone crowdfund? Yes. You don't have to be a big company to get donations through this method. Anyone can do it from a phone or a computer. And as Colin Simmons discussed with us the other day, I found an article in the Mail online that supports Colin's story. A broke father of 5. He launched a crowdfunding page to pay for Christmas for his family. And he reached his £2,000 target in just a few hours. And he used GoFundMe to do it. And I think it's exploded that target. So, you know, we live in a different society. Our thinking is different. We're more than happy to support people directly now through these platforms. Who's behind 50/50 crowdfunding? Well, David T. Rosen is the founder of 50/50 crowdfunding. He's a Canadian entrepreneur, and he's widely regarded in the industry as an expert in this crowdfunding arena. Okay. He founded a similar platform in 2002, which still runs today. That program has 670,000 members and has generated nearly $1 billion in donations between its members. Just think about that for a moment. The person who invented the 50/50 crowdfunding platform is already responsible for $1 billion in donations, nearly $1 billion in donations across another platform that he built. So if we're asking ourselves, are we with the right people? The answer is a resounding yes. So why this company? Why 50/50 crowdfunding? Well, imagine if you had been involved in any of these companies at the start, you know, Google or Intel, Netflix, GoDaddy, Microsoft, Samsung, Facebook even. How wealthy would you be today if you had been able to get right in at the start, right in at the very beginning? I used to work for Microsoft. I'm a software developer by trade. And I once knew a woman who was one of those people. She was in right at the start, very, very start. She sold her Microsoft shares last year for over $100 million. She didn't put $100 million in, let me tell you that. But she got $100 million out. Never have to work again, never have to think about money, simply because she got right in at the beginning, right at the very start. So timing is everything, okay? Absolutely everything. Imagine if you were offered a way into such a company today. How wealthy will you be tomorrow? Or how wealthy will you be next year if you accept that the timing is right and timing is everything? I'm here to tell you that the time is now. 50/50 was launched in October 2018, and you can get in right at the very start. We're 6 or 7 weeks old as a company, and it is exploding around the world in over 200 countries right now and growing. So my question to you is this: can you absolutely think of a better time to get started? I certainly can't. What we're going to do now is briefly explain what the 50/50 crowdfunding platform does in the form of a quick overview. 50/50 is the world's first crowdfunding system that allows you to receive half of everything that happens in your donation centers forever. I didn't understand the implications of that when I first joined 50/50, but boy do I do now. 50/50 is based on the world famous Mobius loop and the system G technology, which is the most successful 2x2 follow me donation center software in history. And we've got it built right into the engine of 50/50 crowdfunding. I mean, if you had to develop this sort of software for yourself to be able to, you'd be spending tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to get this up and running. 50/50 is a team crowdfunding system that provides help from both above and below. You can also receive donations seconds after registering. You can join 50/50 crowdfunding, become an active donor, get your receive center set up, and be receiving money in seconds. I've seen it happen in my own centers where people have joined, registered, become an active donor, and suddenly minutes later they've got a donation. It's that simple. 50/50 is a peer-to-peer team crowdfunding system, which means there's no middleman. 100% of the donations are immediately assigned to a beneficiary. This means that the company does not take a single cent or a single penny out of those donations. The company charges a $29 system fee, platform fee, every 6 months. So it's $58 a year, which is nothing really for what this system does. And that's how the company make their money. But they do not take anything out of the donations. And importantly, the money doesn't go to the company. When donations are made, they come immediately and directly to you if you are the beneficiary, either in your bank account, your PayPal, your Wirex account, your Bitcoin wallet, whatever you specify. The money just comes to you directly. And 50/50 provides you with an easy to navigate, totally automated dashboard that displays everything in real time to allow you to monitor your donations second by second. I spend most of my day logging into 50/50 crowdfunding because I just want to see the donations coming in. And it happens in real time. Sometimes I'm on it and I get an email and there's a donation. And the system is so simple. It's not a complicated thing. And that's evidenced by the amount of people around the world already who are not technical. They're not technically minded. They're not social media marketing experts, but they're making money with 50/50. They're getting donations in with 50/50 crowdfunding, okay? So there are 3 simple steps that you need to take to start benefiting from this platform. The first step is you need to register and become an active donor. What does that mean? Well, you need to register with the person that invited you onto this call or who showed you their website, and then you need to make your first donations, totaling $250, 2 donations of $125. We're going to go into that in a little bit more detail in a minute, but that's what it means to become an active donor. You make your $250 donations, okay? The second step is to help 2 new people become active donors. Now, these might be friends, these might be family, these might be colleagues, this might be, as it was for me the other night, a waitress in a hotel. I got talking to her and got her email address, got a telephone number, asked her if she knew anybody that wanted to make a good income. She said, I might be interested in that. I said, great, give me your details. And I sent her onto the video and I'm having a conversation with her. So the people that you can show this to are all around you all day long. So help 2 people become active donors yourself, and then work with those 2 people to help those 2 people become an active donor by helping them and guiding them to finding their first 2 people. And once you have your 2x2 matrix filled, 6 people, that's your donation center completed and filled, okay? And that's all it takes. And by the end of that, you will have made $750 at the lowest level, okay? For a $279 investment or outlay, okay? So it's not difficult. We're not looking for thousands and thousands of people. You can start very small and insanely low cost. Now, 50% of everything donated into your centers always goes to you, okay? And as I said, you can start small. So you can start at level 1, which is $250. That's a $250 center. So you make 2 donations of $125 to acquire that center. And in return, when that donation center is completed, you will have received 6 donations of $125, totaling $750. Okay, now when you've got some profit, you can go around again. As soon as you close a center, another one immediately opens and you can begin again. And because of the Mobius loop technology, the people in your first center, when they close out, they will appear in your second center. Those people come with you for the life of your 50/50 platform. So that's the bit I didn't understand at first. And I'm not going to go too deep into it on this call because there are people who are better qualified to explain it than I am. All I know is it works. And I don't need to understand the ins and outs of it to know that it works. So when you feel you're ready, you can upgrade to the $500 centers, the level 2 centers. Now in these centers, you receive 6 donations of $250. So by the time you filled your donation center, you will have made a total of $1,500. But the interesting thing is this, that while you're running a $500 level 2 donation center, you can also at the same time be running a level 1 $250 cycle center, a donation center. So now you've got two centers running consecutively alongside each other, a 250 and a 500, okay, which is brilliant. And then when you feel ready and you've made enough profit from the system, you can move up to level 3. Now, level 3 is the $1,000 level, and you would make your donations to that level. But in return, you receive 6 donations of $500. So when you fill your donation center at level 3, you've got a total of $3,000, which is great. But the good news is here. You can still have your $500 and your $250 level donation centers running alongside your level 3, okay? So you're getting the picture here. You can run multiple donation centers alongside each other all day long. And again, level 4, $2,000 level center. And once you fill that donation center, you'll have received a total of $6,000 in donation directly into your bank account, your PayPal account, your Wirex, your Bitcoin, wherever you want it to go. And again, you can still run all those other centers that you alongside it. You can only have one donation center per level running at any one time. So for example, if you're at the level 4, as we are here, you can only have a maximum of 4 centers open: a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, and a level 4. You can't have 2 level 1s or 3 level 2. It's one of each open at any one time. Okay, and then finally, you can achieve the level 5 $4,000 donation level, and again, this is all done out of the donations that you've received. You know, everyone I speak to in 50/50 crowdfunding only ever makes their initial donations out of their own pocket once. From that point forward, once you close your first center, your first donation center at the 250 level, you're in profit. So you can use those profits to get you up the ladder, so to speak. At this level, you'll receive 6 donations of $2,000 when you close your donation center, and another one will open for you. So that's a total of $12,000. And yes, you can still run 4 other donation centers alongside it. The level 1, 2, 3, and 4 can all be running alongside a level 5. So you can be generating donation centers of 12,000, 6,000, 3,000, 1,500, 750 all at the same time. And I hope now you're beginning to see the potential for income from this platform. It is absolutely staggering. So how does that break down? Let's just look at how opening and closing a donation center works. So when you open your first donation center, it'll be a $250 donation center, and you will have made 2 donations of $125 to open that center. And then you bring your first active donor in, and they make a donation to you of $125. So now you've got $125. So you're halfway to paying for that donation center. And then you bring your second active donor into your donation center, and you receive another $125. So now you've had $250 from this donation center. And you work with your first and second people, and your first person brings in their first person, will be your third person in this case, and that third person donates $125 to your first person, but also they donate $125 to you. So you get another $125. So now you've had 3 payments of $125, totaling $375. And so it goes on. Your first person brings in their second active donor, and they receive another $125. And you too, from that 4th active donor in your cycle, in your center, you receive another $125. So now you've had a total of $500 with just 4 people in your donation center. And now your second active donor introduces their first active donor, your 5th person, and they too receive $125 in donation from that person. And again, you receive $125 from that 5th person, your second person's first person. Now you've had a total of $625. Okay, so you begin to see how everyone who comes into that donation center, every one of those 6 is going to donate $125 to you. Okay, And then finally, your second active donor brings in their second active donor, and that generates $125 for them. And of course, it generates $125 for you too. So now you've had 6 donations out of this donation center. You've had $750 in this donation center, and this donation center will close. Another one will open automatically, and you can continue to put new active donors in there. But also, don't forget, because of the Mobius Loop technology, some of the active donors in this cycle will come with you into the next cycle when they close out their centers. And that's the power of the Mobius Loop technology. Again, don't ask me to explain it because I don't really understand it. I just know it works. So that brings us to the close of the overview of the system. What I'd like to do now is perhaps open the microphones up to anyone who wants to ask a question or tell us their story. If you could just put your hand up in the chat window, and what I'll do is I'll open your microphone and invite you into the call. When I do that, please tell us your name. Please tell us where you're from, which country, and if you can, try and speak clearly and slowly so that we can all understand you, because there's people that speak many languages on the call tonight from all corners of the world. So try and be as clear as you can. It looks like Jamie has got his hand up. Jamie from Mallorca. I'm just going to unmute you, Jamie. Good evening, Mallorca. How are you?
Good, thank you. Yeah, it's a bit late here. It's 12:30 in the morning. But I stayed up to listen to this one. So
thank you. That's unusual for you.
Yeah, because normally I'm up at 5 in the morning, so I'm going to sleep in today until 5:30.
There we go. I'm just going to briefly tell everyone about your situation, but it is quite funny. Jamie's a good friend of mine from Mallorca, and his day job, he's the sea captain of a multi-million-pound super yacht. So Jamie's already living the dream. Tell us your story, Jamie.
Well, no, I'm just like a number of people there. Some of the people I'm dealing with here are quite negative about 50-50 and the crowdfunding thing. And it's been a battle over the last 2 or 3 days, really trying to get people involved in it. But as you said to me before, Ray, it's the wrong type of people maybe that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And I need to change my stance and my view and my approach to people. So I think over the next few days I'll just be reevaluating, and my target audience will be changing as we go along.
But I do think it's excellent that you are talking to people, because if you're talking to nobody, then number one, you're not going to find where the no's are, and you need no's to get some yes.
Yeah, true.
I think it's superb that you are talking to people, and you know this isn't for everybody. There are 6 billion people in the world. We're not going to enroll all of them into 50-50 crowdfunding, and we're never going to run out of people. I've heard that said a couple of times. You know, what happens when you run out of people? We're never going to run out of people. There are 6 billion people on the planet, and listen, there are network companies that have been around for 40 years that are still bringing new members into their businesses even today, and they've got millions of distributors. So we'll never run out of people to talk to. And as you rightly say, I think sometimes it's just about changing your target audience and changing where the people that you're talking to, so that you're talking to the sort of people with the right mindset rather than the people with the wrong mindset. But it's good that you're talking to people, and it's good that I talked last night about the book, Reject Me, I Love It. And it's good that you're getting that rejection, because what it actually does is it builds you up and you learn from it and you move forward. So good on you for doing that.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. And I tried to order that book, but I had a bit of trouble. The only way I could get it was through Amazon in the US. So I'm still waiting on that order to be confirmed one way or another.
Yes, cool. Well, thanks for that, Jamie. No doubt I'll speak to you over the next couple of days, and thanks for staying up for me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I must say that I really enjoyed this presentation.
Thank you.
Not that I haven't enjoyed the other presentations at all. They've been very, very good. But certainly this has been very enjoyable. So thanks again.
Thank you. Well, we're going to make this available to everyone in the group. So
fantastic. Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it. So is there anyone else who would like to speak, have a question for us? I've got Colin in the call here. I don't know where he's disappeared. I think, as you know, he's not there. He is. Let me just unmute him. Colin, have you got anything you'd like to add this evening?
How are you, mate? I can't really talk again tonight, mate.
Oh, right, sorry, I'll shut up. I'll leave you to it. Thanks, Colin. Colin, he's not in the right end of the house this evening, so we'll let him be. So, is there anyone else that has a question? If you've got a question and you want to type it in the chat, feel free to do so. Or if you want to raise your hand, I'll open the microphone for you so that you can tell us your story or ask a question, or try and get some advice out of me. So we've got a good number of people on the call tonight from all over the world. Rahim has put his hand up. Let me just unmute you. Good evening, Rahim. How are you?
Hey, Ray. Thanks. Just got a question here from someone who's messaged me.
Yes.
What happens if the person doesn't get there too?
That's a very good question, and I'm going to be completely honest with you and tell you that I don't know the answer to that. Because and the reason I don't know the answer to that is because all I've done in my journey in 50/50 is I've worked with everybody that I've brought into the business. Effectively, I hold their hand a little bit because obviously I want everyone to get at least 2 people into the business and become active donors. So I do a lot of 3-way calls with my team and the people that I bring in, and I work with them to work their lists to see if they've got people that they can talk to and show the opportunity to and show the video to. And as Duncan always says, Duncan has this great line where he says to people, do you know anyone who would like to make some money? Anyone who's interested in earning a great income? And often you find it's that opens the conversation where people say, actually, yeah, I might be quite interested in that. And then you say, well, have a look at this video. I'm going to call you back in 20 minutes, or when would be a good time to call you? I'm sorry I can't answer your question. I will ask that question of Duncan tomorrow and try and get him to post something onto the group chat. But I personally...
Can I try and answer it, because she's in the call, and Colin, I think you're here. Just correct me if I go wrong.
Yeah.
The system allows you to cycle once,
yes,
and then kicks you out, and then to get back in, you need to sponsor 2, or you need to introduce 2. But yeah, Colin, if I've got that wrong, correct me, please.
If I'm honest with you, Rahim, that's what I heard. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to give an answer because I didn't want to give a wrong answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I understand.
But I'd actually heard that, and I think there's always a thing that if more than one person hears something, it's probably the correct answer. So let's assume that's the answer for now, and let's get some clarification on that either on the 11 o'clock call with Colin. Perhaps Colin make a note to just talk about that a little bit tomorrow, and perhaps get something in the group. But it's a great question, and thanks for that. And I encourage you to always hold the hand of your new people, and even work with their people, because all that does is it brings strength to your 50/50 crowdfunding platform, and more people will cycle faster if you help them down the journey. Thanks for the question, Rahim. It's a really good question. Appreciate it, my friend.
Cheers.
Right, I've got a hand up from Maxam. I'm just going to unmute Maxam. Good evening, Maxam. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Ray. I believe I might answer your question, or the question which was just asked.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Because I've got 2 people in my team who have gone through the process, or someone is still going through the process.
Yeah.
What the system does is, if someone is fortunate in that they've got spillovers and end up with all their donation or spaces in their donation center filled up,
yes,
they will make the 750.
Yes.
But the system doesn't open a new donation center for them.
Ah.
So one of the guys in my team got 250. Then I said, you need to bring in people. Next day, he got another 250, went to 500. Before he realized what was happening, he got 750.
Mm.
So what he decided to do was emergency options. He brought the missus in.
Mm.
By bringing the missus in, the system, the missus fell under me as if I'm the sponsor, because he has already been locked out from the system.
Yes.
So what it meant for you, if the miss is going to bring any other people, he's not going to benefit from that.
Yes.
So that's what happened to one. The second person did the same thing, brought in another guy, but he couldn't, the donation center couldn't open. It's only last night that he brought in the second person. So he came in, the second person automatically fell underneath him. So the system will only open for you once you have brought in your 2 people. Okay. Then you can continue from there. Hopefully it answered the question.
That's a brilliant answer, Maxim, and I've been educated. So thank you for that. That's excellent.
No problem.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much indeed.
All right.
Okay, does anyone else have anything that they wish to add? I think, Del, that probably answered your question. And Colin said, yes, they're allowed to cycle just once without referring to people, which is exactly what Maxam said. So there we go. That's given us some clarity on that. So if nobody else has got any more questions for me, we'll bring this presentation to a close. So remember, to get started, if you're new on this call and this is your first time, how you get started is you get back with the person who showed you their website or invited you onto this call, because they will help you get going and get started with your 50/50 crowdfunding platform, okay? And the people that are new here, don't be worried by what you've seen. If you don't understand it, just ask questions until you're happy that you do understand it. What I would tell you is this: there's always a danger that you can end up suffering from what I call analysis paralysis. In other words, you want to analyze something so much that you actually never do anything. So I tend to take a view that sometimes it's better just to make a start and then work things out as you go along. As Richard Branson said, if you get offered an amazing opportunity and you don't think you can do it, just say yes and work it out later. So remember, there are also 3 live calls every day for 50/50 crowdfunding. So we do the hard miles for you. If you've got a prospect or somebody that you want to show the business to, but you don't feel confident in being able to present the opportunity, we're here to do that for you. Every day, 3 calls a day, 1 at 11 in the morning, that's UK time, hosted by the amazing Colin Simmons, who's doing a fabulous job, growing a fantastic business in 50/50 crowdfunding, and an exceptional leader in his own right. And then there's an 8 p.m., 8 o'clock UK time call, which is hosted by Duncan Wood, another great leader who's doing fabulous things with 50/50. And then again, every weekday night, Monday to Friday, there's the 11 p.m. Call with myself, Ray Sinclair, and I'm totally committed to 50/50 and helping people where I can. And between myself and Colin and Duncan, we know that more and more people are being inspired to start their own webinars in their own languages. We've got the presentations now translated into Spanish, and we've got German coming. And I know that somebody in Spain is thinking about doing a Spanish webinar in the not too distant future, once they've got their sort of head around it a bit more. And so you don't have to do the hard work. Just bring people onto these calls, let us do the explanation, help answer the questions, and help you grow your business. So thank you very much. That's the end of the presentation. Really appreciate your time and your energy and your questions and input this evening. And again, we'll be here tomorrow night, 11 p.m., 11 o'clock in the morning with Colin, and of course, 8 o'clock with Duncan. So thanks very much. Good night, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
When you worry, your face will frown. That will bring everybody down. So don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy now. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy.